What's up, guys? I got a question from Eric Jabinski today, and he's asking me, he feels that there are two sides of his mind. He feels like there's this feminine side and this masculine side that keeps talking to him and running his life, and he notices they're both dark and light. And I'm going to explain this today in this video. Thank you for asking, brother. It's a great question, and it gives us a great topic to all explore. Let's get it today.
I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Namaskaram and Flow Namaste. My name is Sumedh Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, a catalyst for you to get into the zone so that you can go from a fear state of mind to a flow state of mind. Okay, I help you feel better and perform better. Let's get started today. A question was by Eric, and he's asking about the two sides of his brain. Okay, the two hemispheres, these voices in our head, right? He's asking about, I have these voices in my head. These voices in your head are very, very valid, okay? So you got to understand that in your head, there is the dark masculine and the light masculine, and the dark feminine and the light feminine. Now, this is a very scary thing to think about, but imagine your parents at their best and at their worst. That's usually what the light and dark masculine internally looks like, okay? So your relationship with your parents sometimes can reflect that internal dialogue. So our inner critic becomes an external critic in a sense, a lot of the times, okay? You've got to understand both of these. And to integrate them all together, you'll have a very, very strong and sharp mind, okay? You'll be able to take care of this. So when we think of the masculine dark side of the mind, it's a critic. It's an inner critic, okay? It's the one saying that, oh, you can always be doing it better, bro. You're doing it all wrong. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know, this kind of thing. By the way, make sure you're 18 and older. Make sure you don't break any laws of the land. Make sure you understand this for information, education, and entertainment, okay? So that inner critic is the masculine side, okay? It's very critical of you. It makes you feel belittled. It makes you feel smaller. It tries to challenge you and get you to keep going, right? It's that voice of the hamster wheel of society telling you, you got to get to the next paycheck, you got to get to the next promotion, you got to get the next grade, you got to be better than the next person, you got to, and it's always like this endless chase, right? This endless chase of just like constantly never fulfilled, constantly chasing and chasing, okay? Never fully satisfied. And this energy can actually be used for good, right? This dark masculine energy can be used for actually bettering yourself and not getting intimidated, right? Like, you know, you could look at a body and be like, oh, that's so unrealistic, that's Photoshop. Or you could see the same body and go, let's go. I need to go to the gym. I need to go to the gym, right? I need to work out. And there's that ability, right, of reframing something is really, really key and really, really powerful. And it's a toolkit that you need, okay? Cognitive behavior therapy, it sounds like a big term, right? But you've got to understand that reframing, the tool from NLP as well, is such a powerful tool. I even mentioned it in my book TPM back there, okay? Which that coffee container is blocking right now, but anyway. So the dark masculine side is the inner critic, okay? Then dark feminine side is the inner deceiver, okay? It's almost like, I want you to think of the siren energy, okay? It's gonna take you into its fantasies and make you drown. It's gonna lure you, it's going to tempt you, it's going to seduce you, it's going to bring you towards the chaos, right? That's that dark feminine, right, energy, that potentiality of like the deceiver, the manipulator, right? So it manipulates you internally, okay? Manipulates you internally. Then, of course, we have the light masculine and the light feminine. Now, how do I describe this? I just describe this man like a strong Olympian god-goddess combo, like a power couple. You know what I mean? Like a loving power couple of god and goddess, and just like the best parents you could ever imagine. Like, imagine your parents if they made it work, right? If they got the best relationship in the world, they made it work. It's like, it's there. The chemistry is there. Everything is there, right? Between them. That's the way I see the light masculine and the light feminine in the mind. It's almost like a very tough love dad and a very nurturing mom, right? And together, they'll create such a solid framework for you that you can use those as well to move forward and get inspired and keep moving forward. So let's get started in terms of recognizing which mind is speaking to me, which voice is speaking to me. Okay? Is it the dark masculine voice? Is it the dark feminine voice? Is it the light masculine voice or the light feminine voice? Now you have these 4 voices in your head, right, Eric? Now you recognize them. Now you have the choice and the power to reframe, to choose the voice that is more louder and turn down the voice of the other ones if you find that it's discouraging you, right? Or leading you astray, which is what seduction means, right? So the way you want to have it is you want to challenge your thoughts. Is this real? Is this effective? Who sold me this reality? Okay? Is this actually accurate? Is this thinking going to help me in the future? Or is it just going to keep me in the same place, keep me stuck? And that's the way that I think. Like, no one has to know what's going on in your mind. You could have the most elaborate, complex storyline and nobody will know. So that's the thing. You could either simplify this game for you by using your imagination correctly or incorrectly. What is an incorrect use of imagination? You let your fantasies drive you, right? It's like you let that fantastical world constantly delude you, and you get into this grandiosity trap of like, no, it's gotta look like this, and oh, but it's gotta be perfect. Okay? So that, again, that's that inner critic. The inner critic and the inner deceiver, they work together sometimes. Okay? Imagine like this very evil couple, right? They're like neighbors, they never talk to you, probably gossip behind your back, right? They're the ones that are always causing trouble in the neighborhood, right? They're the ones that are shaking things up. They're not sticking to the norms. They're not sticking to anything, in fact. It's the energy of chaos, right, at a certain point. But it's like control and chaos, right? The darkness. It's like the more rigidity, the more control, the more I can dominate and like keep things in a box, and I can put the butterfly in the jar so it suffocates. And on the other side is the energy of chaos, like completely, there's no structure. It's just also means it's boundless, it's potentiality, right? It's unmanifest form. That's what we've got to really understand here, guys, okay? Is that we have both of these. Okay, some people might even say like the inner douchebag and the inner bitch, right? Like if you want to describe it like that, I mean, go ahead. Okay, I know there's some kids watching, families watching, that's why I don't swear as much. However, I'm going to start to probably because, hey, I can't keep blocking my authenticity, It's got to come through. It's got to come through. These words have got to come through in some sense, in some way. And they will come through either through this platform or somewhere else. And so I'm going to speak my truth and speak in such a way that will evolve not only myself, but you as well. Okay, and that's the way you gotta think. How else are you gonna think? I'm not good enough? Good enough for what? Good enough to be you? You're the best at being you. Yeah, but I've always been like this. Always? Yeah, but that never? These are all cognitive distortions I'm calling out, right, with these questions. And so you can do the same thing with your own inner voice, you see? You can catch yourself and catch your own bullshit in your mind. You can be like, nope, that's false. That's false, that's inaccurate, actually. That's an assumption, actually. Wait a second, isn't that a judgment from an assumption that I once had? And you're getting more accurate in your thinking, right? You're not getting critical in your thinking. You're not overly like micromanaging everything and constantly refining. Man, you got to zoom out as well. You got to see the bigger picture. You got to go into the chaos as well as the control. Also, at the same time, you want to have this positive yang energy within you that gets going, that gets moving, that starts to create more order. Get this, okay? The divine feminine is not like a very kind, like loving kindergarten teacher either. She's almost like the goddess Athena with that grandiose beauty. At the same time, she has a softness to her, care for herself, her family, this deep level of empathy, That's more like it, okay? You gotta have some strength and some backbone for the divine feminine. It can't just be like this, flimsy, cardboard cutout cartoon version of her, right? It's gotta be like sharp, like as a woman, like the beauty's on point, makeup's on point, everything, just there to show up, do her thing, like feels herself, What do you call these characters inside your mind, right? Give them names. When you give them names, you classify them. Okay, this is another way of masculine control and critique. However, at the same time, it's helping us. So we're compartmentalizing it towards actually benefiting us rather than captivating us, right? And so we're going, okay, let me name this guy Fred and let me name her Alice, okay? Let me name her, Petunia. I don't know what name you want to name her, right? Maybe you want to name her like a stripper name. Maybe you want to name her like, Queen from an old Disney film. Maybe you want to name her like something funny that you thought of on the spot. But it's your frequency. You have the choice. You have all full control. Okay? You know what mine are named? Do you guys want to know? One is named Para. Para is the female version. So that's my divine feminine. And Dox, which sounds like a badass name, by the way, Dox, is the male version, okay? Or the masculine essence internally. So Para and Dox are the light masculine and light feminine. I still haven't actually named my dark masculine, dark feminine, but I will do that as well. I think that's a really good task. Once you know names for all of them, it's like now it's like they're gonna become a family. Your thoughts are gonna become a family and support you on this process and this journey. Okay. You don't want the voices in your head like bring you away from your goals, right? Like your subconscious mind pulling you back every time that you try to do something. This is why you need a good dialogue, a good critique between these four forces, okay? Let's get it. Upward Spiral Gang. May we never be the same again. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. You already know what it is. May the flow be with you.